everybody. Welcome to the Sensational Gent. I am your host, Sean C. And this is live stream number 22. So if you are here, let me tell you first and foremost, I appreciate you being here. I understand that it is a chilly Wednesday night, and listening to my crazy tale may not be the best idea that you might have during this holiday Yuletide season. However, I appreciate you. So let's see what we got here. Sorry, I started a little late. I appreciate that. Um, today, today's topic, we have a number of topics today. And let me first say, let me welcome you to the channel. If you are new here, we like to talk about deep and engaging topics, hopefully sometimes a little humor. It's going to get you to just think about your life, reevaluate where you're at, think about your purpose, and help you to live your best life. And so I ask you currently right now, if you're watching, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon notification, that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos here on TSG. And so anyway, today's topics we're going to talk about disasters in life and how we should appreciate our life, our time here. We're going to talk about my car accident that really has changed my life. And then we're also going to talk about just a new way of thinking about life that hopefully will help push you to your limits and just help you to get to that purpose that is going to also allow you to be happy, to be as happy as you can be. All right. And so recently I put out a video. I put a lot of time into that video, and man, YouTube took that bad boy down. And I will tell you, it was quite a blow. All right. Because there's nothing like putting a whole bunch of time into something and then not having people watch it. But the worst part is knowing that you had something good and then YouTube struck it down. But not to make me feel good or bad, YouTube actually was knocking down a lot of channels that was coming up with some of the stuff, right? That was talking about the subject. And so, you just got to be cautious. And I'm not going to lie to you that it had me feeling like I want wanted to kind of give up doing this for a little bit. Just had that in my head. Um, but I'm not a quitter, and I can't quit this. This is something that is a part of me now and that I need. And I hope that you guys get something from, which is why I try to put in time and effort and make sure that this live stream is pretty good so you guys can listen to it, so you guys can enjoy it, and also be a part of it with me here. Let me know down in the chat, do you feel like the YouTube algorithm is holding you back? If you are a content creator, in the chat right now, let me know if you feel like sometimes the algorithm is holding you back. Let me know. Let's see what we got. I have my boy Neil in the house. Oh man, look at that picture of Neil. Look at all majestic and Christmas-like and stuff. What's up, Neil? How you doing? This is my boy Neil. I have a story to tell. Make sure you guys go check his channel out. Support that brother. Got a lot of good content on there, especially talking about the gig economy and stuff like that. You might find something humorous that you might like, and also you might find a good word that you need. So my boy Neil got it right here. What's up, Neil? Let me know if you hear everything, bro. Because I don't have a sound QA tester over here. So hopefully you're getting some of this. All right. As I wait for that, I'm going to go ahead and proceed on to today's topic, at least to the first part. So, look, I know that this is a cliche thing to say, that life is too short. And it really is, right? Like, I mean, I think that we're obviously when we're younger, we take that for granted because we feel like we have all the time in the world. And I think as you start approaching middle age into middle age, you start realizing, okay, well, I feel good. I have the perfect combination between youth and just finally starting to get it a little bit. And then after talking to my mom and stuff, hopefully if you're like her, you come to a realization that that you only have a finite amount of time, and that hopefully you come to some level of acceptance about where you're at. Let me get back to the chat real quick and see what's going on. Okay, Neil says I hear you. Yeah, I know you driving, Neil. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just needed a sound check real quick, so I appreciate you. All right, let me get back to this. So this week, anybody who if you watching this channel is a pre-recorded channel or you're watching out there somewhere, what you're going to realize is that I tend to get these topics from my week, but there was something very unique that happened this week to me, and I will be talking about that story soon. But there was other things that I saw that happened this week, and I was like, I really want to talk about this. I think that this is really good that we talk about um, the things that are happening in our life or that are happening in life that we can take some lessons from and that we should be appreciative about. And so a lot happened this week. So tell me right now, have you guys heard or seen the devastation left behind by those tornadoes that went through Kentucky and the Midwest? I mean, that is some heart-wrenching stuff. And um, after having gone through, well, not personally gone through, but seeing my family and friends go through Hurricane Katrina and just the devastation that I seen that happen. And even there was the hurricane at Ida, was it Ida, that happened this year that went back through Louisiana almost 16 years after the events of Katrina. And you start looking at that kind of stuff. And then, my God, man, I mean, like, can you imagine that you're sleeping, it's nighttime, and then you have this tornado that basically completely shreds your town. I mean, I wish I don't have any photos or anything, but if you don't know that there was tornadoes that went through the Midwest this week and completely just devastated this one town. And it was night tornadoes are obviously the most dangerous because it's dark and you really can't see it. It basically tears up the power. You have no clue. But this, uh, I don't know if you guys remember that movie with Twister. They were chasing after the tornadoes. Like the devastation is something like worse than what you've seen out of that movie. I don't think that movie even portrayed how destructive that these tornadoes were or this tornado was. So, and then to top it off, you had about a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago, we had another um, incident with our schools where involving somebody bringing a gun to school. And here it is that these kids are already trying to get back into school post COVID and trying to live their life. And then all of a sudden, one of their own brings a weapon to school. And listen, my son just started junior high. He's starting to get into that grade where, kids are, where you see people come in there and are not junior high, yeah, middle school. Middle school? Yeah. Junior high, middle school. I forgot to do the same thing. My bad. Just had a brain fart moment. I apologize about that, everybody. But my son is starting to get into those grade levels. Can you imagine that he wasn't doing too well in terms of him being able to do his work on his own. And it's not because he's not smart. That's not the problem. But without that interaction, it's hard to keep him from being engaged or interested in school. So the fact that now kids are able to go back to school and actually interact with their friends and be there with the teachers and see all that stuff in person and have the whole experience of being a preteen, it's doing wonders for him in terms of his growth, right? And his ability to be able to interact and develop the way he needs to. Now there are these parents that had the same thoughts for their kids, and then somebody brings a weapon to school. Not only brings a weapon, but is also encouraged by his parents to brandish this weapon until people were hurt. I believe there were four people that are no longer with us, and a bunch of people that are injured, say 8 or so that are injured. That happened within the last couple of weeks. And then the video that I told you about where it got taken down, I'm going to talk about it here because obviously that video does not exist. So there was a man who gets on Facebook Live and he talks about the story of how, and this, let me first say this. I am not advocating for what this guy did. I think what he did was heinous. I think it is terrible, no matter how you feel about your exes or no matter about people in your life. But this guy who was going through a bitter, bitter custody battle with his ex-wife to the point that she was starting to try to spread that he was a bad father, that he was maybe touching his children inappropriately, etc., etc. Pretty bad stuff. And he had the kids. I think he had the custody of the kids, or at least they were with him in the video. Okay. But on this Facebook Live, he also describes his girlfriend. So he wound up having a girlfriend. She got knocked up. She was due to have a baby. And then she threatened to use his kid, future kid, against him, like the other woman was doing. In the argument, they had a fight, and then she said, "Well, I'm gonna, do you the same way," and basically use his kid as a pawn and use his kid against him. So this dude was hurting. This dude wasn't doing well, and this dude decided to take her up. And then he drives over to his ex-wife's house, and he takes her out with the kids in the car. And what I wanted to say in that video was that, you got to watch the energies that you bring into your life. You got to watch the people that you bring into your life. I'm guilty of that. Some of us out there are guilty of that. But the people that we bring into our circle, into our life, into our energy, into our sphere, can affect us in ways that we cannot realize. And the thing is that a lot of the times people bring toxicity into their life when they have toxicity. People accept toxicity in their life when they themselves are toxic. Because I can tell you for a certainty, when you're done with that, you're done with it. But back to the subject. Everybody involved in that situation did not see this happening, did not see this coming. Every one of these situations that I'm talking about, no one saw this coming. No one would have suspected the devastation that the tornado was going to lay waste to their town, to their city, to that region. Nobody thought when they sent their kids to school that they were going to get this call that there was an active person involved in the school. Nobody thought that day when they sent their children to school. And last, that girlfriend, that wife, they had no clue that the person that they were dating was going to snap. So what am I saying about this? I want you guys to appreciate your life. Do you understand me? Appreciate the time that you have. Listen, My boy Neil out there right now putting in work, okay? He out there putting in work. I appreciate you listening to this, Neil. Now, if you go by the numbers, I'm about to break some numbers down to you real quick to help you look at your life and appreciate it as best as you can. Assuming that you live a 70-year life and you sleep about a third of your life, or assuming that you live a 70-year life, you sleep about a third of it, which comes out to 23 years that you're sleeping, give or take, right? Depending on how much you stay awake or go to bed or all that stuff. But let's just assume a third. So 23 years out of a 70-year life is sleeping. You work about 47 years. So if you assume people start working around the age of 18 and then they quit at the age of 65, that's a 47-year work history. And in that 47 years of working, let's assume, not counting any type of vacation or anything, but let's assume that you have 2 days off a week, which is 28% of your week is off. Only 28% out of a working week. So those 2 days off equate to 13 years of free time. Okay? 13 years of free time. So with all this life, 70 years, you sleep a third of it. You only get 13 years of free time. 13 years of free time. It's no wonder that people are or have been hesitant to necessarily go back to the workforce where they're making slave wages and being, where they're not fulfilled. I just did a show last week, episode or live stream number 21. And in live stream 21, I talked about not being happy and the reasons why people aren't happy. So you have so little time. So little time. Life is way too short. Life is way too short. So what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with that precious time that you're given? Are you making the most of your days off? Are you planning for the future? Are you looking ahead? Are you thinking about the things you want to do? Seriously, it's a fair question. See what the chat says. Neil says, I never thought of free time like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you break it down by numbers, man, you don't, now you might have a little bit more free time than that, Neil, right? Like you might have holidays and you have vacation. So you get a little bit more. But if you just think about it in terms of, if you have a 47-year work history, and 13 years of that, 13 years of that is your free time. Yeah, man. Looking at your free time in terms of, um, like as a percentage of your life, and that's if you live 70 years. If you live less than 70, then obviously that number changes, right? And so, you have to ask yourself, what you're working for, right? You know what you're working for. Like Neil, in your case, you're working for your family. You're working to make sure that you put a roof over your family's head, that they have the things that they need, right? That's what you're doing it for. But when you think about it, the things that we spend our money on, things that we focus our time on, it's insanity to live that type of life where you give so much of your time away to these businesses and corporations and they're not paying you a fair wage for the amount of time you give them, right? They're not, see, we look at it as in they're paying us what we need to live. But I will say that they're paying you pretty much to die because a lot of people work to death. A lot of people wait until they get old, until they don't have a good marble rolling around in their head no more. Okay. But if you scratch that person's head, they thoughts leave with it. That's what they're paying you for. And nowadays, think about it. You work that hard, you put in that much time, you put in that much effort, you put in that much blood, sweat, and tears with an organization, thinking that you're going to get something out of it when you retire. And a lot of these places are laying people off before they hit their 20 years so that they don't get their pension, because these places do not want to pay that retirement. They want to keep your money. They're okay with giving you a severance, but if they had to pay you a retirement for the rest of your life, they don't want to do that. So they get rid of you before that. So then I ask you out there that are listening, if you're in this rat race right now, what are you living for? What are you doing? If you're not thinking about other ways to be able to get to the end of your life and enjoy it, you're messing up. If you are out there and you listen to this and you haven't started thinking about that stuff, but you out on, like, you're on a couch watching TV and you sitting there chilling and you like, oh, I ain't worried about that right now. I got this, that, and the third. You are messing up. Listen, I take it nothing for granted, even though I know I'm blessed by my time I put in the military and reaping the benefits of that. I know that that's not the be all to be all, because at any point in time, they could take that away. And what I'm going to do after that. See, now that's why I'm working on the next thing. We'll talk about that in a later segment. We'll talk about that in a later segment. Neil says deep words work you to death. That's exactly what's going on, bro. You working to death. And let me tell you, man, it's like there's a price that I've paid for my quote unquote freedom, right? Like, yes, I have a freedom of my life right now due to the time I put in the military, right? Me being retired. But at the end of the day, there was a price to pay for that. Things that are broken down on my body, man, things that hurt. You know, like I could barely stand on my feet now for over 4 hours without my feet hurting, you know, or my back or my knees hurting. It's a price that I paid for all those days with those boots on and standing up. There's a price to be paid, but sometimes you got to pay that price just to get a little freedom, a little heat off your back. That's why if you're listening and you're relatively young, you need to go ahead and crank it out. Come up with a plan so that you don't have to work to death, that you can work toward life. So I challenge you guys with that. Let's get on to the next section since we're talking about that. So approximately 7 years ago, I was in a car accident, and that was on 12, 13, 14, December 13, 2014. I was in a car accident. You guys have seen that on the thumbnail. You saw what I talked about, that I survived this car accident and lived to tell about it, and the title. You saw I talked about I survived. I survived this and lived to tell about it. You saw that. I wanted to make a separate video about that, but I figured I'd rather talk about it here on this live stream. And so what happened to me was I was going through a lot of stuff at the time. Okay. I was going through I went through a separation, I was going through a divorce, and you know, the pressures of life started to kind of get at me a little bit. and I had a lot of work pressure. For a little bit, I actually didn't have a place to stay for a small period of time. This was one of those times that I ended up homeless. But I wasn't homeless when all this stuff happened. But there was a lot going on in my life, so I wasn't thinking straight. And so I leave work on a Friday. I had a good solid plan, and like I'd been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. So that was a Friday, which was the 12th. And then so I went out for a little bit, kind of had a nice evening. I did have a couple of drinks that night earlier on. Probably tacked on a lot early on. So I kind of was cruising toward the end of the night, was slowing down, lost my debit card, all kind of stuff. And then, like because when I didn't have my debit card, I couldn't necessarily check into a hotel. Actually, hotels were kind of booked up or something. I was just doing this last minute, but I didn't also have my debit card on me either. So I had my car paid for in parking for like 24 hours. I decided I was going to lay in the car, but I think it was kind of chilly that night. It was December, so it was a little chilly at night. So I was like, well, you know what? I think I could brave this. I can make it home. And um, I tried to drive home, but what I hadn't realized or really accounted for was the fact that I had been up for 24 hours, so I was pretty exhausted. And so I remember going over the bridge, and then I must have dozed off, but what woke me up was the sheer force of that SUV you saw running into one of those transporter buses on a very small bridge. Pretty much I pretty much completely stopped traffic. People were trying to go to work in the morning. That was a major way out of the town. And it was pretty bad. It was real bad. Um, um, I remember when my SUV hit the transporter bus, for a split second, I woke up and then I was knocked out again, right? And I had a lot of thoughts in that moment, a lot of thoughts. I was like, oh my God, what happened? Like, what the hell is going on? And then I remember thinking, like, wait, you was driving. Oh my God. What, what the hell? Like, when I realized that I had got into a car accident because I fell asleep, I thought about all these things in a split second. And I don't believe in necessarily like taking my own life or anything like that. It's very rare circumstances I think about taking my life. But I remember feeling in that moment that I just want to kind of die, just want to not be here because I didn't want to deal with the repercussions and the consequences of my actions. And and then once I came back to, I checked myself. I was like, okay, I'm alive. I didn't know what the damage was because I was pretty injured. Like my chest was pretty badly banged up, and I had a scar across my head. And I just remember not. I just remember being appreciative that I had another chance and I was still alive. And so, um, with that being said, um, I'm glad I'm here. And since that period of time, oh, actually, I'm just lucky that I didn't off myself. Um, but additionally, I'm also glad that um, that I didn't hurt anybody else. Well, I mean, the lady was driving that bus; she was hurt. I mean, imagine she thought she was just doing her job, and some idiot fell asleep at the wheel and ran into her SUV or ran into her bus with his SUV. So the fact that I'm here right now says a lot. You know, we go to the chat, see what y'all said. Neil says, blessings, you still here. Absolutely, my man. And let me tell you. So I came to grips with, I knew I was going to be in trouble and I knew I was going to have to deal with that stuff. I came to grips with it. Too often that we don't accept responsibility and accountability for our actions. Trust me, I paid some severe prices to the fact that I almost got kicked out of the military, like I was fighting to stay in. And luckily, people took the chance on me, and, I had an extra chance on life. So instead of squandering that chance, I took that chance and I made the most of it. I wound up getting put in charge of different things and even, taking up responsibilities that was way above my pay grade, showing that I still had value, that I still had something to give, that I still had something to contribute. So instead of looking at my wounds and saying, woe is me and my life is over, I continued to fight and I continued to push. And that's how I developed my plan, right? Like, especially after talking to my uncle, it was like, he was asking me, what's my plan? You guys have heard me talk about this before on the channel about what's your plan. And so I hadn't really thought about it at that point, you know? I think I was 34, about to be 30, or actually I was 35 years old at the time. And I hadn't really thought about it. I hadn't really thought that far. So that's why I always tell you guys on this channel about having your purpose and having your plan, because I'm not gonna lie to you, there were more dark times ahead. There were more things that I had to deal with. There were more lessons that I had to go through. And had it not been the fact that I have a goal, I have a plan, I have something I see for myself, not for anybody else, but for myself, that it allows me to push through when times get hard. So that's why I always bring up to you guys, it is really, really important. As Neil said in the chat, I'm looking, never give up. That's why I don't give up, because there's more to give. And it ties into what I told you guys in the previous segment about this life is short. Things happen very, very quickly. So I ask you, if you're sitting on your ass right now and you're not doing the things you're supposed to do, or you lost sight of what's going on, I encourage you to have your plan and to see for yourself a life beyond what you see now. What is it that you desire? What is it that you want from yourself? Apart from riches, what do you see for yourself out of life that has nothing to do with material stuff? Because when you die, you can't take that crap with you. So you got to think about, what is it that you need now for you to be whole, that has nothing to do with the stuff that you can't take with you. Are you hearing me right now? Let me get to the chat real quick. True Gemini, what it is, bro. What it is. What it is, man. I'm glad you're here. Hey, make sure you guys check out this channel, True Gemini's channel. This brother is exploring. He gives you his thoughts and perspectives, and allows you to just think, not pushing anything on you, but giving you a perspective to think about things, just like I'm trying to do for you guys right now. So I hope you guys see that. Okay. Thank you, brother, for being here. Thank you all for watching. If you are new or late to the chat, right now I'm talking about my experience with car accident that I had 7 years ago that has affected me to this day, that has allowed me to be where I am now. That car accident absolutely changed my life, because it changed my perspective. See, I had a vision for myself in my head for what I thought I was going to do, but the actual car accident made me start to think about my plan and think about, how do I put this into action, not just talk about it. You know, a lot of people, have you heard somebody that was telling, like, oh yeah, one day I'm going to take care of this, one day I'm going to do that. Okay, one day I'm going to get to it. Right? Whole bunch of people that's gonna get the stuff. Whole bunch of people that one day say they're gonna do some stuff, but they don't ever do it. Okay, I'm telling you, I've seen too many people that are worm food right now that never did anything that they said they was going to do, because they talk a lot of mess, they talk a lot of game. A lot of people talk about stuff, but what are you actually doing right now in the moment? Right? These topics, they're all connect. There's a reason. There's a reason all my topics seem to connect, that I talk about these things. I'm talking about it because of this one event that happened where I decided to play chicken with my SUV in a transporter bus and I lost. What are you doing? Life is too short, people. Life is really short. Let me go back through the chats. I see I missed a lot of stuff here. Uh, 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 uh. Oh, okay. Hey, Brick Girls Go Stateside. How you doing? Lucy, how you doing, girl? How you doing? Good to see you. Make sure you go check out this. Everybody go check out this channel here. I'm telling you right now, they're on the rise. They about to, they blowing up right now. It's because it's a really good show. And I know you're gonna have a really good time watching this channel. So make sure you go check out Brick Girls Go Stateside. All right. I told y'all check out True Gemini. Let's see what we're talking about. True Gemini says life is beyond short. Oh man. So earlier, and Neil was privy to this, I talked about how much time you actually really have, right? I'm gonna break these numbers down real quick. If you are blessed enough to live 70 years of life, you sleep about a third of it on average, right? That's what they say. So a third of 70-year life is 23 years of your life you sleep. So if you go ahead and you subtract that, you have your 47 years, right? You have 47 years of life. So you have a 7-year life, you sleep, and you really only live 47 of it consciously. Here's the other part about that. If you work from 18 to the age 65, right? That is a 47-year working career, right? It's 47 years working. If you get 2 days off a week, not counting holidays or anything like that, you only have 13 years off out of 47 years of working. You only have a little bit of time off. You're so busy working, but what are you working towards? True Gemini says so many people take it for granted. I was one of them too before my accident. Oh, you had an accident too. That's what I want y'all to do. Drop that in the chat. Let me know what happened if you feel comfortable talking about it, because that's why I'm bringing it up today. Today is the 7-year, or not today, but 12/13 or December 13th was the 7-year anniversary of my car accident. And so I was going to do a separate video on this, but I was like, you know what? I want to bring this to the chat. I want to talk about it. And there's so much going on. Virgo's Ghost Inside says, hey, Sean, thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. I am here. You see, I have the festive background and stuff. I am here celebrating the holidays. Man, I wish my pad looked like this for Christmas. I do have a Christmas tree up though. So as much as I don't celebrate Christmas, I got a tree up and everything like that. I'm not totally being a Grinch. I'm not going to totally bah humbug this thing. Okay. Neil says, okay, y'all talking there. Yeah, True. Oh, yeah, True had a bad motorcycle accident. Yeah, bro. You know how many people I know that have bad? I know folk that had those type accidents, and you still have all your limbs. You know, I got a brother that he goes through, and he has so many surgeries that he has to go through to recoup. And you know what? He's probably one of the most nice spirited people. Which reminded me, I need to give him a call. I feel bad if I need to call. But despite the accident, he'll tell you, and you know, he got to walk with a cane and everything like that from his motorcycle accident. But that brother said he is lucky to be alive, because we all know folk that either been through an accident or ain't here right now because of one. Neil says, "What a testimony!" Yeah, man, that is a testimony. It is, and hopefully you guys get something from the story I'm telling you guys. All right. So I survived my car accident and it sparked change. Now, you guys that have been here, Lucy, you may have heard this story. Neil, you've heard this story, right? That this car accident is why I do what I do. Why you will see this channel evolve to where it's going. Where you will see me, because regardless whether I have the channel or not, actions are still going to be the same. What you're going to see from me in the future is a result of the plan. If I continue to do YouTube, what you see is a result of the car accident, the plan that came from that accident. And so that's why I pose that question to you guys, right? What is it that you want from your life? You have to ask yourself, what am I doing next? What's my plan? Because if you're sitting here just going through life doing things like everybody else, you're going to be in the same track and the same path. And I will tell you, here in America, the statistics say that people aren't happy, which is why I had the last show. You see what I'm saying? This was a buildup. This was a progression. This was a buildup. This was all set up. I set this up. These last shows, I've been putting down breadcrumbs leading to this moment to tell people that may not know about my story that I came away with it with a new appreciation of life. And a lot of times people are resistant to change. Change is tough, right? Nobody wants to change. Nobody wants to do something different because you're comfortable with what you're doing. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Let's see what we say in the chat. True says, yeah, bro, March 19th, I was in a major motorcycle accident, helicopter rescue. Crew said they found me 600 feet past my motorcycle, half my body in a creek. I don't remember leaving my motorcycle. Oh my God, bro. Wow. I broke my spine, the T4, 5, 6, and 7 vertebrae. I broke my neck complete, C1 break. I broke my sternum and 5 ribs and both lung clefts and short-term amnesia. Wow. Neil says, I want to live my best life. Neil, that is why I use that statement on this channel. Live your best life. You know where that came from? My accident. And that's why True can say the same thing. He's living his best life. You see it on his channel. You see him going out there being one, doing things that don't really, I mean, Henry, man, you pay for your equipment and stuff, but guess what? You're doing stuff that you love to do. So it's not, that money is well spent, is it not? Is it not? Lucy says, I used to have clear goals and I felt like I knew where I was going. Now I'm not so sure. And that's okay. That's okay, Lucy. Because let me tell you, every 5 years, I reevaluate those goals. Every 10 years, you actually start to change. You are a little bit different. You should be different 10 years from right now than you are here. In 10 years in the future, you should be a little bit different. But I even say in 5 years, you should be slightly different. I'm not saying lose the essence of who you are, but I'm saying that in terms of what you're learning, in terms of what you're gaining out of life, in terms of where you're at on your goals and your plans and your dreams, you should just be a little bit different. Okay? You should be able to see that maturation, that growth. You should be able to see I'm just a little bit further, right? I got my little notepad not far from here where I have all my 5-year plan written down. And I can tell you right now, there were things that I was able to check off on that list. Some things didn't go as planned, so I changed the script a little bit. The plan might change a little bit, but the goal is the same. Once you figure out really what your goals are, then everything is the plan you build to get there. And my goals aren't built on material possessions, because if you build it off of that, you're building your house on sand. You understand what I'm saying? All right, let's see what we got. Hey, Shannon. Hi, Sean. Love that you're sharing this. You know I get it. Yes, absolutely. Shannon, that is, like with your situation, especially to see you so lively and enjoying everything and see everything that just you living your best life right now. Feels good, doesn't it? Feels good when you feel comfortable and you where you're at. And Shannon, I also know that you also have your goals that you are setting ahead. So now that you're in a better place mentally, now you can get to work. Now you can start doing things you need to do. You can kind of see your path and where you're going to go. And that's a part of having that planning. You know where you want to end up. That's important. So it's okay if you don't know in the moment, but that's why it's important to brainstorm and to visualize and see where you want to be at. And that's exactly what I had to do. I had to visualize because that accident happened on 12, 13, 14, mine, right? And um, so I had to deal with some stuff, aftermath of some stuff. And so I had made about 2 weeks to before the end of the year, probably less than that, 13 days. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks to the end of the year. And I wanted that 5-year plan to start on this January 2015 and last to January 2020. And I did a lot of stuff. I didn't do everything, but I did a lot of stuff. And now my plan, this current 5-year plan, ends in 2025. In 2024, sometime midway through or in the beginning of it, I'll start evaluating my plans from 2025 all the way to 2030. You see what I'm saying? It's a nonstop growth process. You should be ticking up to the next person that you want to be in the progression. So just because you don't see it at the moment doesn't mean you shouldn't plan for it. But I like to vision in my mind's eye what do I want to ultimately see myself doing. And now all my goals and my plans and my dreams are all leading toward that one event. True says it's money well spent. And honestly, before my accident, I was about to work, work, 80 hours a week and every 3 months vacation. Now it's all I'll do. I'll do what I need to survive, but I want to enjoy life now. Listen, if you don't plan for the future, if you don't plan for your older self, you're setting yourself up for failure because we will get old at some point. And this youth that you have, if you're blessed enough to make it to old age and you don't have the ability to work, you're kind of stuck in a situation. So you do have to plan for that eventuality. Okay. But you also get one life. So if you work, right? If you just do that the whole time and you don't smell the flowers along the path of life, along the way on your journey, you just missed out. You just missed out. Henry also says, and now I'm living that life, enjoying family more, doing things with my friends, actually rediscovering myself outside of work. And I can honestly say it's a true blessing. Yep. And you know what? Thank you for sharing that. Thank you very much for sharing that. Because again, if you go to Henry's channel, True Gemini, you see him out there doing the things that he loves to do, being one with nature, just enjoying the moments that he have here. You can see it on you, brother. There's a calmness and there's a peace about you because you go do those things all the time. You know what actually helped me too, Henry? When I was in Hawaii, I started my Instagram after the car accident because I didn't want to be on social media. I was pretty, though I had some presence, didn't have Instagram and nothing like that. But if you go look at I have probably close to 1,000 posts on Instagram. But at the start of on my personal one, not my sensational gent. If you don't have it right now, I have an Instagram at TheSimsationalGent. Check me out. I'm trying to be better about the things that I post on there. Okay. But man, like I was going hiking, I was in waterfalls, I was out enjoying nature where I realized the first 3 years that I had been out in Hawaii, I wasn't really doing much. I was going out and I was just doing the same party. I wasn't doing anything other than that. I wasn't taking the opportunity to actually explore and take in the beauty of where I was at the moment. And that became my life, going out there and doing that kind of stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. So it's okay. Got that. All right. So listen, let me take a sip of my drink. Shannon, if you're still around, that can, I do not endorse this, like whatever. It's not a product endorsement, but that can that I had the last, oh, it came in handy. Oh man, see, it came in handy. Now I need some ice for this. Kind of warm, right? Thank you all. Oh, then I pass this up. Okay, okay. That's a discussion. Can I say camping trip? Man, you can't get me out there in the cold right now, but tell you right now, it's cold as hell here. True says that, Neil. Yeah, guys, trip soon. Man, it's too cold with all that. Shannon says I was going to mention it. Oh, you saw that Mike's in there, Shannon? Yeah. See, I brought it with me. It came in handy. I needed a little what I call show lubrication. Okay, I'm on the show and I need a little sippy sip. So look, I bring up my story, and you got to see. If you look in the chat, you got to see True Gemini's story, and then we all have these stories. Listen, if I'm gonna leave this part of the story with this. Okay, if you don't leave some type of traumatic thing, right? We all go through some type of traumatic thing. Not if you don't, then you're fortunate, but you're fortunate by default, not necessarily like I could tell you, and Shannon, you can attest to this. True, you can attest to this. Neil, I'm sure you have your own stories that you deal with. Um, that adversity that we go through, that adversity that we experience, those hard times, those times where we feel almost utterly broken or physically broken in True Gemini's case, right? Those are life's opportunities, especially if you're alive and you're able to recover from it. Those are life's opportunities for us to reset and to humble and to really figure out what we want. We have another opportunity, right? As long as we get up every day and we have breath in our body, as long as we get up every day and we can, you know, put our feet on the floor, or in some cases not, but as long as we take that other breath, we can sit there and we can plan for it, we can push for it, we can go toward whatever future we want. See, we don't have to be on what we feel is some predestined path. We can choose our own destinies. We can make the destinies of our choosing if we're willing to go ahead and put in the work to do it. And you guys here, a lot of you guys here in the chat are putting in that work now with this. And I tell you, I almost quit doing this the other day because I feel like this YouTube is throttling my views now. I realize it is. There's just no way. There's certain things that's happening. And it's like, what do you do, man? I'm working so hard on this stuff for it to be throttled. But it's that adversity that makes you push on, that you keep going. You know what? I'm gonna find my audience. I'm gonna find the people that's gonna hear this message and that's gonna use it, that's gonna love it, that's gonna like it, and they're gonna make it into something. That they're gonna find the best version of themselves so they can live their best life, which we talk about here all the time on the Sensational Gent. Let's get back to the chat. You need a snifter. Well, it's too late for that. I've already just went right out the can. Just actually, I started the show probably about a minute late because I started about a minute late. I was running behind. I passed out after eating. Oh, matter of fact, Shannon, I passed out after eating your food. So I had about 2-3 chicken breasts, and I passed out again. That's terrible. Can't believe the itis got me again. It's terrible. Shannon says, yes, challenges and opportunities. Yeah, right? That challenge allows us the opportunity. That challenges allow us the opportunity to reset, to rethink where we're going to go. So like Lucy talked about earlier about not knowing certain things, but it's the challenges that allow us to be able to reset how we think so we can go ahead and figure out where we want to go. All right? Neil says, amen. Neil, you up in church today. Man, bro, look at that. Look at that vest you got on. Y'all see that there with his little name tag, the tie, man? Neil looking all good over there, bro. Look at you, boy. Looking all clean. All clean. That's what he's doing. All right, we got True. Yes, real talk. It's definitely a humble experience. And like I said, it helps you rediscover yourself. It's a blessing. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's how the concept of the sensational gent was birthed. It was through that adversity. It was through, can't make a diamond without pressure. Okay? Can't make a diamond without pressure. So, let's see what else we got here. Thank you. Looking spiffy. Man, I shouldn't have wore this. This is hot, bro. Like I can feel bead of sweat dropping down my back right now. I wish I could get that little back scratcher right there, but we're not gonna go there. All right. I don't know who Emma White is, but how you doing? Just don't spam my chat. That's all I ask. Um, but right now, man, let me tell y'all, I'm I want to show y'all something, okay? So I didn't put up the other one. I don't have the other screen ready. But let me tell y'all something. Something that even before my car accident, I looked at was I look at every year the top 10 places in the world that's the cheapest to retire to. And I've been looking at that list for probably like a decade or so, decade and a half, probably longer. I can't remember. I've seen various versions of this throughout the course of my time. And when it was time to reevaluate where I was going and what I wanted to do, and when I had to build my plan and not build it on having the things that I have, I'm saying when I built my plan off of what is it that makes me happy, I always thought about this list. So if you type in, like 10 cheapest countries to live in 2021. I think there's a Forbes list. Forbes does this list every year. And in January, they'll be putting out their new list, or it might be out now because of the anticipation of the new year. But I saw that list. And when I was building my plan, I thought, I was like, man, I've always wanted to like just go to those places on that list. And though it requires money to do, it is a goal that isn't overly materialistic. It's about the travels, about the adventures, it's about the journey, which is what Henry does, and some of you all have done in the chat. So I look at this and I thought this was an opportunity. So my 5-year plans are based on the goal. The plan is based on the goal to live a life of travel and hopefully fulfillment. Shannon, at dinner the other night, I showed you a buddy of mine that retired from the military. And I showed you what he looked like in the military. What do he look like right now? Shannon, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but what do he look like right now? He looked like a happy hippie, don't he? I want to coin that phrase, okay? Happy hippie, okay? That's what my boy looked like, a happy hippie. And I'm gonna tell you, this brother looks happy. Him and his wife, kids are traveling, they're all over the world, just living their best life, living their best life. I'm gonna say it again. If you don't know who I am, this is Sean C. This is Sensational Gent. I want for you to live your best life. And that's what he's doing. I love it. True Gemini says, yes, facts. And it makes you cherish even the small things more. Absolutely. True Jim says, I look at that list too. Exactly, bro. Like, look, if you're not listening at that list and figuring out your retirement plan, you are messing up. Neil says, Panama is an affordable place also. Listen, man, if you don't know, make sure you check out on this channel. I have a video that I created earlier this year about the top 5 places to retire, or my top 5 places to retire. I made a video on that. And obviously, I'm going to probably do some type of video review or something like that for this year because I like some of the stuff and the changes that I made this year, though my numbers probably weren't as good as last year. However, I look at it and I still look at it as a win. I look at it as a win because I talked about some really deep topics this time, and it's more in line with the the ideals and the principles of the sensational gent. And that's what I want you guys to get from this chat today. That's what I want you guys to get from this talk. Shannon says, amazing difference in photos. He was dripping happiness. Yeah, like, so if y'all don't know, like, so Shannon invited me over for dinner, and we all had dinner as friends. We do this from time to time. And I showed her a buddy of mine that I served with. Him and I made chief in the Navy at the same time. Him and I went through induction season at the same time. And I showed her the pictures of him, and he all like, because she was playing Shannon, you were playing Bob Marley. And so it made me think about my friend and how hippie she looks being out there in East Asia and all around, right? Him and his family just living their best life and the happiness that's coming off of him. Okay. When you start to do the things that make you really happy, not like buying stuff. I got the drip, right? I got the bling. That ain't gonna make you happy. When you start doing things and you're starting to, in his case, he's experiencing life through these other people's eyes. See, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm doing when I leave. He's happy. When you start going around and people influence you, and you, or maybe you do something that influences others. But those are the things that make you happy. Go back to what the title of last week's live stream was about. Last week's live stream was, why are you unhappy? People have all this stuff. You have all this stuff and you're still unhappy. You have your life. What are you going to do with it right now? That's the question you need to start asking yourself if you haven't already. Okay, still same chats. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, let me show y'all. I haven't, I said I was going to show y'all something and I didn't. Check this out. So this article is another article that the the top 10 places to retire at for cheap in the world on that Forbes list. That's the end goal. That's the end game, right? Well, before you get there, I want to give you a quick perspective. I'm not going to go through his whole list. I'm going to, I already linked it down. I think I did some preparation work, some preparation H, and I linked it down in the description that you can go check out this list later. But I want to bring up to you, I'm going to share my screen with you for a second. So you have this right here, right? So this list, it talks about 50 regrets. Everyone has over 50. I don't know about everyone has, but it's 50 regrets of people over 50. If you're doing this stuff right in your life, you shouldn't have some of these regrets, okay? Not doing more for others. We talked about that, right? If you travel or you do some type of altruism, I said altruism, goddamn. But you start like, helping others, volunteering. We talked about that last week. Not nurturing good relationships. I'm not going through this whole list. Not ending abusive relationships sooner. We talked about that earlier, right? When I talked about that guy who wound up taking out his ex-girlfriend and ex-wife, right? He should have ended those relationships sooner, or they should have ended it sooner. Not asking that person out. I don't care about that one. Letting the passion die. Being a unintended, I can't read that. Basically not being a good partner. Getting divorced. Yeah, that's a regret people have. Staying married for the kids. Holding on to grudges. Yeah, people do that a long time. So look, I'm not gonna go ahead and read that. It's not where I want to take y'all with this, but I want to show y'all this list. And there's a specific, and where is this mouse? There we're going back, people. So I brought up this list to you guys for a reason. What I want you to do is, if you don't know where you're going right now, if you lose your path or you lose your way, if you don't do it like I do it, you don't have to do things like I do. You don't have to write out your plans. I'm just telling you that people write out their plans are more successful and they're more likely to achieve those things because they do. Your brain recalls it better. You start doing like I'm doing. There's actions that I take and I don't even know why I'm doing them because in my subconscious, I've already written this plan out. I've watched this plan a dozen times. So now my actions are going toward the goals automatically because I wrote it down, because it's in my conscious, my subconscious. It's in my heart. So I'm telling you, you don't have to have these regrets in life. People that have regrets like these people do, the 50 regrets of people over 50, is because they didn't take advantage of the time that they had when they had it. In this show, when you go watch it back as a replay, if you come in late, I talk about how much time you really have. I just break down a few metrics about working. And that's not even to mention the fact that, let's say that you work an 8-hour day. What about all of the hours and the time you're in traffic and transit, back and forth? The hours that you had to stay later, the times that you missed your family. Those things are priceless. Priceless. You can't get that time back. You can't get it back. We talk about on this channel, the two most valuable resources you have is your time and your health. When you don't have time, that's it. When you don't have your health, that's it. If you can't get around and do the things you need to do, you're not going to be around long. This is a gift. It is a gift, a unique gift. If you think about time, how much time has passed, your life is nothing but a grain of sand on a beach. What are you doing with the time that you have? So you got to get like Henry. You got to get out there and see the stuff and enjoy it instead of being on the couch. They want you on the couch. They want you watching TV every day. That's one of the first things I cut out after my car accidents. I stopped watching TV. I actually started studying more because also Henry, like you, something was affected up here where it was like a reset with switches hit. So like I was questioning so many things. So I had a lot of research to do. And I did that research for a year and a half. Year and a half. Because it just didn't make sense. The things they're just things that just didn't make sense anymore. And I needed answers. And those answers have inevitably led me to doing everything to find my purpose and to live my best life. Henry says facts. Yeah, man. That's all we spitting out here. So look, I have a question for you guys. Question of the day. Oh, I set it up. I actually set it up. 1 second. Question of the day. If money wasn't an object, what would you go and do today? If money was no object, what would you go do today? Let me know down in the chat. Let me know down in the comment section. I want to hear from you. I want to know, if money wasn't an object, what would you go do today? What would you do? Let me know what y'all think about that. That's the question of the day. So look, I'm not gonna hold you guys up much longer. Thank you guys for watching. I'm grateful for being here. And this is the 7th year anniversary of my car accident. And I can tell you that there's a lot of things that I've done well. There's some things I've done wrong. But in the end, I've done my best to try to enjoy my time in my life. And I hope that in the next year to come, in 2022, that I'm actually moving closer toward my overall goals and dreams and aspirations. And I hope to take you guys on that journey. If you don't know, next year I plan, after spring of next year, I plan to be on my travels. And this channel is going to change. It's going to transform. I've watched this channel change from that first year to what it became this year. And then we're going to watch it. If you stick with me together, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. If you're in here right now watching and you haven't hit the like button, you did me a disservice. We could have more people watching this that hit that like button, get the likes up, okay? I ain't going to treat y'all like Kevin Sanders. I'm going to shut down the chat. I ain't got that many people in here. So I'm appreciative of all you guys that are here. But you guys are going to see this channel grow. You're going to grow with me. You're going to see the things that I say that I'm going to do. And we'll talk about that when those things happen and the time come. I hope you guys will be on that journey with me as I do those things. So I didn't put out a fitness. I have the fitness video, my fitness channel. There's a link for it in the description if you're not subscribed to that channel. I put what I'm doing through my journey. I also have some really good footage. I started working out again. I hadn't worked out like 4 weeks, whatever, and so I've been back to the gym for the last couple of days. Haven't went today, but after this live stream, there ain't nothing holding me back but winning opportunity, right? So I might go to the gym, get a little night sesh going, a little night session. Okay, get a little workout, then come back and eat the rest of the food that Shannon gave me and the rest of the food that I had. Oh my God. So get a little bit more of that chicken breast in there. Okay. And I lost my train of thought. That's crazy. All right, great. Gave me a question. So True Gemini says, based on the question of the day, I would travel and help out communities and countries that are in need. Bro, mm, love you, brother. I'm telling you right now, I have the same type of thoughts. I hope to get there. Initially, I'm gonna check out things and enjoy it for myself. And then as my travels progress, as time progresses, I hope to be that person that is out in the community, living amongst the people, bringing myself down so that really, as a person, I come up. And I want to be like my buddy, man. I want to live like that. I want to live with minimal stuff, man. I want to be a minimalist. I don't care about this stuff. I just want to live a full life that I don't worry about, these nice surroundings that you see behind me, okay? um, Stay blessed, my brother. Happy holidays to you and take care of yourself. I can't wait to see your future journey. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. I will have a live stream here next Wednesday. I know it's right before Christmas, but Christmas isn't until like Saturday. So we're going to do another live stream on that one. I'm going to try to make the topics a little bit lighter. I like the holiday topics to be a little lighter, right? Not so deep like we're talking about today. So I'm going to look through the week and find some fun stuff to play with that we could talk about in the chat. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. Brick Girls Go Stateside. Money isn't an object, isn't the only object, but if I could go back to the UK and see my grandparents, I miss spending time with them. Love this live show. Thank you very much, Lucy. I very much appreciate you being here. It's so good to see you again back. You know, you missed a number of my live streams. I was a little sad. That's fine. I know you guys got your beautiful house and everything, and I hope it's coming together well. And there's nothing like having that new place and being able to decorate and stuff like that and enjoy your time. So thank you for spending your time with me. And yes, listen, the unique thing that you have, Lucy, that 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 we have, that we all have in this time, day, and age, is though you can't get to see certain people, and I'm guilty of not using this more, but we do have that thing called video chat. I know it's not the same as being there in the house and cooking and smelling the foods and touching your grandparents and being there with them physically. And grandparents just got this smell about them, don't they? It just, I don't know what the smell is. And maybe it's just old. I don't know what that is, but whatever. It smells like experience to me and love, okay? And then you got Shannon says cilantro, jalapeno sauce is the bomb. Yes, I ate some more of that with the chicken. Now I can't unlink the two, Shannon. Okay, I had to get some more of that jalapeno sauce for my chicken, and it was delicious. And I will be having more after the gym tonight. Okay, you better believe it. So, if money isn't an object, what would you do today? I guess I would tell y'all before I go here that if money wasn't an object, well, it sucks because if money was an object, I got a lot of folk I got to see because of the pandemic. I haven't been able to travel to see my family. I haven't seen my mom in years. I haven't even seen my son in a couple of years just because of the travel and the money and this person need this and this person need that. So I've been kind of restricted by money. I would see my people first because I know I'm leaving. And but let's say I'd already saw everybody and money wasn't an object, and I would just honestly, I would do what my plan is now, right? I mean, like what I'm trying to do next year is exactly I would do if money wasn't an object. I would be doing the exact same thing. So that means my plans are pretty good, right? It means that if I'm, or it means my goals are pretty good. If my plan is taking me to my ultimate goal and money is an object and I go do it, then that means I set up something right. I did something right. And you can all take that back from the car accident. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one. And thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for still here. Again, tune in next week. I don't know what the topic is. We'll figure it out together. This was a good talk. I enjoyed each and every one of you. I'm about to give thanks to everybody that was in my chat right now, like I do. So I want to thank my guest Shannon for being here. I want to thank Brick Girls Go Stateside. I want to thank True Gemini. I want to thank my boy Neil, who's always listening and driving at the same time. I don't know who Emma White was, but whatever. I don't know what that's about. And then who else am I missing? Did I miss anybody else? Is that all who participated in the chat today? It's just a bunch of Neils, huh? It's a bunch of Neils. Tell me about it, is what Neil said earlier. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being a part of it. I hope you all have a blessed week. Lucy says, thank you, Sean. See you next week. Yep, see you next week. And then, as always, everyone, as always, like I always say in parting words, live your best life.